Tom Gray here. In this next installment of the Craftsman 109 Lathe series, I mounted a quick change tool post. Isn't that cute? Little tiny thing. It works just like a big boy quick change tool post. Got a cam on it. It's got different holders for parting tools, cutters, boring bars. Took a little bit of innovation to get it mounted, but not a whole lot. I'll show you how I did it. Here's the star of the show. It's a little tiny 2-position quick change tool post that I got from Amazon. Just bought a cheapest one I could find. It came with 2 tool holders up to 1/2 inch, a boring bar holder, and a parting tool holder. How these things work is pretty simple. You got these 2 plungers, and you've got a cam. You can see the eccentric right here. That and that are eccentric. So when you place that into the tool holder body and you rotate it, the cam just pushes out the little pins, and the little pins, which just float in those holes, put tension against the tool holder. Really simple. And then the position of the tool holder up and down is controlled by this thumb screw. So you can take two tool holders, set them with the same height adjustments. These are different right now, but so these brass thumb screws are at the same height, and then you can quickly and easily take on one, put on the other, go back to the other one, and so forth. So pretty simple concept. There's lots of videos on these. I won't go into any more detail there. So this one has a little bushing, and the bushing takes a bolt, and the bolt bolts down to the compound. So the starting point obviously is the compound on the lathe. So normally these old things came with what's called a lantern style tool post, but this one was missing it. I got this lathe for cheap, and it was missing a lot of stuff: the gears, a couple of cranks, and the lantern tool post. So if you look at it, it's kind of a T-slot deal. But here's a standard, almost standard, I ground this one a little bit, but standard size 3/8 T-nut. And while it fits this way okay, it doesn't fit this way okay. Too sloppy. And so you don't get a lot of bite on the compound shoulders. So I don't want to crack the compound shoulder, so I want something that's got more engagement. This idea is not going to work. I'm going to do something else. And here's the something else. I'm going to take a stainless steel T-nut or weld nut and a conventional 7/16 washer, lay it on there, tack those 2 together, and then trim them down so they fit inside of this T-slot. A little bit hokey, kind of a homemade T-nut, but with the parts I got on hand, I can make this up and it'll be pretty strong. So there's the initial shaping. Kind of looks like a toilet washer. Doesn't quite fit. So I'm going to sneak up on it with the Dremel, a little at a time. Okay, that fits. So it doesn't bottom out, doesn't have any side-to-side slop, and that's plenty strong for what we're doing. Here we are back at the compound. Here's our homemade T-nut. Here's the body of the tool post, and it doesn't quite sit flat on there. Turn a little bit because of the glare, but doesn't quite sit flat on there. So I'm going to open this hole up just a wee bit because this T-nut, this homemade T-nut, is really close to fitting but not quite. So I'm just going to open that up just a wee bit and then it'll sit flat. According to my little teeny weeny McGrath pocket caliper, this is a 7/16 OD on the barrel of our little T-nut. So I'm going to pop a 7/16 hole in that. I know I'm doing this with a hand drill. It's sacrilege that I'm not doing it on a mill or a drill press, but that looks righteous. All right, we're down at the compound level. So here's the base of the tool post sitting on the T-nut. Here's the bushing. So I'm going to set that in there. Now to pick a bolt, I'm just going to demonstrate here that this is a 3-inch, 3/8, just a hardware store bolt. I'm going to thread that in. Just finger tight it. Okay, there it's snug. So the post is it's not touching the bushing. But if I take this piece of craft paper, it won't slide under there because the bolt is bottomed out against the compound. And you don't want that because these little things are delicate and they'll fracture right through these ears on both sides. You'll just rip it right off you'll just bust the ears right off of the compound. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to use this flanged head grade 8 2 3/4 inch long bolt, which I found at an auto parts store, and snug it. I'm just finger tightening it again, but see the bushing is tight. The tool post is snug on the compound. It's moving because I don't have the compound tight, but it's snug on there. Now I'm going to take my piece of paper and I can slide it under there. So the bolt is not the end of the bolt is not pressing against the base of the compound. So the ears are clamped. They're not going to get torn off. They're simply clamped by the homemade T-nut and the base of the tool post. So this is what you want to do. You got to be careful with these old things. These castings they're strong to a point. They'll take a lot of punishment, and all of a sudden, bang, they give up. So final installation. So I'm going to snug the compound down, and I'm going to put in the lever and cam, and I just marked it high and low, H and L, so that I can tell where the eccentric is, and that just drops in, and then the bushing drops into that, and then the bolt into that, and then I'm just going to snug it down just a wee bit, and you can see how it works. So push our lever all the way to the low position so the pin's back into the body, and drop on a tool holder. There we go. Now all you got to do is put in a tool, position it to cut, obviously adjust the compound and the cross slide where it needs to go, and we're ready for cutting. So let me find a couple of tools, and I need to rig something in this faceplate here because I don't have the chuck on it yet. So here we are set up on the back face of the tool post, and I'm going to attempt to make a little cut on this cast iron pipe flange. It's cutting, just I'm going really slow, and you can see there's kind of some flexibility in my cross slide here. Turn the speed way up. I went off the back gears, and there you go. There's one cut with the cutter that way. Now we'll switch the tool to the other position. Lock it in. Now I'll come in and cut this outside diameter. And then just because I'm gonna put a little chamfer on here. Well, there it is. So you can see there was some vibration and a little bit of chatter. I got to tune up the gibs a little bit and tighten up the carriage screw and play around with some more adjustments, but that's not really the point of this video. It's to get the tool post mounted, and it's mounted. And it wasn't to turn my crummy machining job on machining up a pipe flange, but just to prove that it can work, and it can work. So I'm going to call this one good, and it's on to the next project. I'll see you there and then.